For the 10th time in 11 games against the New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys get a win. 23-16 is the final score as we welcome you to the First Word presented by Dr. Pepper. Here from the Star in Frisco and the Globe Life Studios, we are going to break down how the Cowboys came out on top and they improved to 2-1 on the season. Alongside Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, and Hailey Sutton, I'm Kyle Youmans. Glad you're with us. And Isaiah, I'll start with you. Cooper Rush, now 3-0 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. He gets another win, and he does so really on the strength of the defense playing a full, complete game and a big Trayvon Diggs pick at the end.
Well, in the words of Jerry Jones, of course he did. Cooper Rush is absolutely balling out. I mean, I can't say enough about this guy. I was skeptical about his abilities really coming in off these last two games, but today he really showed his resilience. He showed his poise. He showed his command of this offense. He put a lot of really good balls out there. Not all of them were caught, but he put his team in position to win a ball game, and they got the dub.
21 for 31 is the same guy, Rush. I mean, no interceptions. I mean, just playing 215 yards, that's not a lot. Zeke had a nice day, 73 yards. Tony Pollard, long run of 46. He had 105. They were rocking.
Yeah, I said it earlier in the week on the postgame. I wanted Cooper Rush to have a big game, and he did it. Maybe the stat sheet didn't light up for him, but he came out. He commanded this offense. He did what he could with the weapons that he had. And he pulls out 3-0 start, like you said.
Let's talk about the weapons that he had because he definitely threw the ball around a little bit. And then early in the game, CeeDee Lamb with a big-time drop. Looked like it would have at least been a massive game, maybe a touchdown if he holds on to it. Instead, he comes back in the second half, kind of regroups, and he makes a couple of big plays, including a one-handed touchdown grab in the end zone, his first touchdown of the season. And Isaiah, you were talking about it while we were watching the game. You needed him to step up and be your number one wide receiver. He was able to do that in the second half.
You're absolutely correct. The first half, he was incognito. I don't know where he was, but he was not the guy that you were hoping to see as your number one receiver, and nor has he been up to this date. But in the second half, I'm not sure what powwow they had, but it worked out because CeeDee finally came out and totally redeemed himself by going out there and making a couple plays and making an amazing one-hand grab there in the end zone.
You know, he wasn't the only one that had kind of a funny first half. Now, Hendershot, the tight end,
yeah,
he made a bad move, but he came back and did what he had to do. So I just tell you what, I think Cooper Rush just gives a sense of calm in there. And, you know, and everybody just play their game and do what they have to.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy talked about how he's been impressed with the comfortability of Cooper Rush back there, whether it's in the pocket, a little bit on the move. So like you said, he just provides that little bit of calmness for this team. And one other thing I want to touch on, you know, CeeDee Lamb with the one-handed catch. We've been talking about George Pickens making the one-handed catch, Odell Beckham making the one-handed catch. Kudos to CeeDee for getting in on that one-handed catch.
He's made a couple of grabs like that in his career. The first one that came to mind for me was Minnesota a couple years ago as a rookie where he was twisting back to the football. Nice. Also a backup quarterback in at that point. At that point, it was Andy Dalton throwing that touchdown pass. But he was able to make the play, but the defense was really the story. They were fantastic all the way through. The 16 points allowed, again, for the third straight game. They allowed just the one offensive touchdown to their opponent. And, Isaiah, what else can you say about this defense? They got after Daniel Jones. He actually did a good job of avoiding pressure quite a bit, but it wasn't enough in the end.
I don't know what else you can ask for in regards to these guys. They take them to the end of the game to get a turnover, obviously, with Trayvon Diggs, but the entire first half, the entire second half, they pressured this man. I don't have the exact percentage, but it felt like it was about 70-75% of the snaps in terms of pass attempts. They were in the backfield pressuring Daniel Jones. He never had an opportunity to get his feet set. He was always on the run. Micah Parsons was all over the place. D-Law, Fowler, that entire rush set that they have created. Dan Quinn has all the puzzle pieces, and he just keeps playing with them.
You don't know what these rush packages are called. Everybody have Cadillac or Mercedes, whatever. But I'm telling you, D-Law, hey, baby, we've been waiting on you. You showed up. I hope everything is all right with that foot. And I tell you what, man, Demarcus Armstrong is doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, and you bring up the pressures. I think at one point ESPN put up a stat that said Daniel Jones had been pressured 21 times, and then within a 30-second span, he'd been pressured 3 or 4 more times after that. So you talk about the defense doing whatever they can to be successful, that right there. And I want to give Trayvon Diggs his kudos as well. The second straight game where he has made that impact play at the end of the game to seal this one for the Cowboys. So good on him.
Yeah, made a big-time play, had the interception in the final drive to cut down what could have been a comeback attempt for the New York Giants. It was good to see him back on the field, too, because he left the game in the middle of it after taking a big hit and kind of came off the field, came back on the field, made the impact play. Another guy who left the game with injury but did return, who had a big night, Demarcus Lawrence. It wasn't Micah Parsons' third straight game against against the New York Giants where he has not had a sack. He did have an impact, but it was Demarcus Lawrence that got home with 3 sacks tonight.
Yeah, he was the D-Law of old. I mean, that's the D-Law that we've been waiting to see. That's the D-Law that he was hoping would have shown up prior to him signing an extension with the Dallas Cowboys. But he came out there and had a great impact, and that's really the dominance of these guys and the personnel that they have. When you have a Micah Parsons that's simply making guys jump, do on false starts. When you have a Micah Parsons going on the inside and running through offensive guards, running through running backs, all of a sudden you forget that there's a Dorrance Armstrong. You forget that there's a D-Law, and these guys have those one-on-one matchups, and then you start having the confidence to go out there and make plays like you did back before you this year.
He just frees up everybody. Everybody has a chance to get after the quarterback, man. He just breeds that success. But you know what? That rookie from Bama, that right tackle, man, wow. Get a good night's rest.
Evan Neal, we are talking about you. My favorite thing about D-Law is we spend so much time talking about Micah Parsons, right, about how he's the new guy, how he's the one that's going to make an impact. But when Demarcus Lawrence is your second guy, you can't go wrong. And you saw that tonight. He stepped up when Micah maybe had a shaky week. He missed a couple days of practice this week. So for your second guy to be Demarcus Lawrence, I don't think there's much to complain about if you're the Cowboys defense.
And he thinks he's the top guy still, and he's got that mindset. And tonight, he definitely showed it with the 3 sacks. And Nate, you mentioned the name for the package. How about the Ford Lightning and Thunder package? Because there's a little lightning and there's a little thunder with that defensive front 7. Let's take a look at some of the final stats as the Cowboys come out on top, 23-16, the final score. And when you look at the third downs, 5 of 13, much better and much more improved there against a team that came in as one of the top 5 teams in the NFL in third down efficiency. 215 yards through the air. Cooper Rush with another touchdown took care of the football. No turnovers again for Rush at quarterback as the Cowboys get the 7-point win on the road. And in the division, they move to 1-0, their 7th straight win against an NFC East opponent. Cowboys game night coming up at 11 o'clock Central Time. Still plenty more post-game reaction to come on the way. The Cowboys get the win here in Week 3. Thanks for joining us on The First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper.